The reason you're struggling on defense in Madden 26 is simply because you're calling too complex coverages, or worse, you're too slow making adjustments on defense. Well, luckily for you, I've been able to take one of the simplest defenses in Madden 26 and turn it into a lockdown coverage. You're not going to miss this one because even your grandmother can run this defense at a high level, so I know you can't too. Let's jump right into it. Alright, the most important part of any scheme, and of course this one, is actually making sure you're using the right defensive settings before you load up. Let me show you the best ones to use right now. Okay, so when we talk about defense settings, these are something I haven't talked about in a long time. Alright, we're going to pause the game, or you can do these particular settings in the main menu. You're going to come into options, settings, game options, alright? Then you're going to scroll down until you find gameplay helpers. Now, defensive ball hawk, what does this do? This allows you to catch interceptions a lot better when the ball is in the air, alright? It prevents you from getting agged a little bit. Not to say that you'll never get agged, or not to say that you'll catch every interception. It just greatly improves your chances when the ball is in the air on defense. Alright, Heat Seeker Assist helps you make those gap shooting dive tackles. I've been praised time and time again by countless opponents on how well my user gap shooting ability is, and honestly to me it just feels routine, because having Heat Seeker window on 100% or higher with Heat Seeker Assist turned on helps you suction tackle those ball carriers on runs, and it's why I've been so successful with run defense this year and really since I started playing, right? Then you want to make sure you have switch stick delay on none. This is going to help you switch stick as fast as possible. There's going to be no delay, obviously, as it says. And then defensive switch assist. This is just going to help you change players a lot better, all right? So really all we're trying to do with this particular defense also is we're going to come into our coaching adjustments. These have to be set every single game, and we're going to come into defense and motion response, make sure this is disabled so that your zone defenders aren't following receivers in man-to-man coverage. Then you want to make sure you have your RPO pass key on conservative so that your AI defenders focus on pass coverage. Zone drops depend on the situation. If you just want to set them and forget them, you're not really worried about these, although I think you should be changing them throughout the game. But if you just want to set them, forget them. Crow flats on 5 is a good option. Now, safety depth close, safety width on pinch. And why is this going to help you out? Because if we call Tampa 2, right, and we see that they call this particular play where they're going to be attacking the seam, right, whether they want to do it on Jerry, I didn't mean to do that, but they can put Jerry Jeudy on a shriek. But now you see how our Verhook's going to do a great job of dropping back along with our deep half already being super close to the line of scrimmage. So there's going to be like no airspace for them to be able to throw this pass. This is one of the most key adjustments that you can make, you know, on defense, because again, you see when they go to throw this pass, they have to wait for this man to run over top of the Verhook, and then you throw the ball, and then you get the breakup just right there. Easy knockout, you know, easy defense. So these settings are the perfect settings to use for this defense, because they just bring everything together. If you're not using the right settings, if you're not able to stop the run, you're not able to defend the seams, you're going to be clueless on defense before I even show you all the scheme stuff. So those are the best defense settings you need to be using. Alright, so if you can't consistently stop the pass, you're not going to be able to win games on any consistent level. Let me show you a simple defense that's still really great here from 3-3 odd. Alright, so we're going to, like I said, come into 3-3 odd, and the play is going to be cover 3 cloud. Okay, this is exactly what we're trying to do. Cover 3 cloud. Now we're just going to have them in a random pass play. Now I will emphasize to you guys that the key with this particular defense, you're making no adjustments really. If you can shift your D line in one direction to overload, blitz them off of that side. That's certainly an option for you. If you want, you can press RB or right stick up to pass commit your defense. But as far as the defenders in the secondary, you don't really need to make any adjustments to them. Again, some adjustments are optional. I'm just going to put them in a random pass play, but like I said, the switch stick is the most important part, because if you're not going to make any adjustments, you better have a great user. And what does that mean? Cashman, the guy that you start to play on, needs to be jumping out and guarding something quickly, taking away their first read maybe. But now you can switch stick onto other guys to take away other openings. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. They're just going to take the snap, and I'm really just trying to play, get a feel for it. You see how everything's taken away. I took away that drag, then I took away the backside dig, right? And so it's all about just changing it up. You don't necessarily know what play, what route concept they're calling every time. Right here they call a screen, and so we're just going to be able to get quick pressure. But you don't know what route concept they're going to call every play, and so that's why it's important to actually just make sure you're having a good switch stick. I'm here, then I'm here, I see that breaking open, and so I'm just everywhere. We're sitting on those underneath routes. So again, you're not making any adjustments, and if you guys have watched some of my gameplays here on Madden, and I even do this on college football, I run the same defense, we're going to be like the Legion of Boom. We're sitting in cover 3 every play. You beat us. Find a way to beat our simple cover 3 that you know is coming, because my switch stick is just that elite. That's really what I believe. We come down, we bait them with that. They might throw that corner out, we get an interception. So another thing I want to tell you guys though is don't get too switch stick happy. There's certainly some plays, like example this one, I don't need to switch stick. I see the screen immediately. I stay on the same man the whole time, right? So I don't want you guys to feel like you have to over switch stick, but I do like taking away routes as they break open. Sometimes you're not going to be perfect with your switch stick. Sometimes they're going to call a good play. You're not going to recognize the play soon enough, but you're just able to see how, we see everything and we're able to, just take everything away. So really, I feel like that's a simple breakdown. It's kind of a simple defense, but one last thing I will say about the switch stick. How do you practice your switch stick? Because that's probably what you're going to ask, right? You're going to spy off the pass rush here in practice mode. You're going to hook up a second controller for them on offense, and you're just going to let them take the snap. You see how now they have all day to throw, obviously, and eventually these receivers are going to start route bouncing all around the field. And basically, I want you to just practice defending all of these route bounces, taking away these routes as they break open, and so that they really don't have anywhere to go with the ball at any point, right? This is a very hard drill. Don't get it mistaken, to actually do a good job, right? Because sometimes these guys will just sit in the wide open, lanes. Now eventually they're going to stop running, so you have to throw the ball away, but that's really the best way to practice the switch stick. If I feel like my switch stick is kind of lacking for whatever reason, I do that drill for about 10, 15, 20 minutes every single day, and that really helps me to get a good feel for if I flick my stick in this direction, this is the player that I get switched on to. So that's really a simple defense here from cover 3 cloud in 3-3 odd. That's, again, very easy to set up and run. All right, so if you enjoyed any of those first 2 defensive tips, I again encourage you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down defensive tips and tricks just like this every single day on Madden 26, and you're not going to miss out on any of them. But if you want my full Vikings defensive ebook with full screenshots, full videos, full write-ups of all the defensive plays and situations that I use these plays in every single game, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can use code YouTube to get 20% off, and the best part is you can save the entire write-ups on your phone during gameplay. Let's jump right back into it. All right, you have to be able to take away the offense's best play, and a lot of the time for a lot of people, that's RPOs. They're going to spam them on you, and you have to know how to stop them. Let me show you how to do that. All right, so they're going to come into one of the best RPOs here in the game. Bunch wide flex, RPO alert out. All right, we're going to come into cover 3 cloud. Now, the way that you want to set this up is perfect, okay? It's very easy, and it's already kind of set up for us here. All you have to do, shade your coverage underneath so that now you have hard flats on the field, pass commit your defense, and then you're going to man up their bubble receiver. Now, when you start to play the game more, you get a better feel for which guy's going to be getting the ball. Against a bunch or a trips formation, a lot of the time it's going to be the inside receiver that's off the ball, right? 19 is standing on the line of scrimmage. There's no way he can get the ball. Occasionally, they could, I guess, call a screen to 16 if he, when they snap the ball, he runs behind the line of scrimmage and it's like a tunnel screen. But for the most part, with alignment like this, the inside receiver is going to be getting the ball in a bubble, right? You play the game where you get a better feel. So now we have the defense set up, and you can see the pass is going to be completely shut down. Why is that the case? Because essentially, the hard flat occupies the slot receiver who's standing on the ball, like we're going to see in the replay, right? The hard flat from your slot corner is going to occupy him. He has to come up and block this man, and then 16 obviously not going to see 51. You'd have to look inside, right? And that's just how the game is. And so then you're going to see 51 just going to come up and make this play very, very easily and very consistently in the backfield. Now, I will tell you guys, don't run cover 2 with this. Always try to be in a cover 3 defense, because honestly, having that hard flat and that man up is kind of what makes this go. So again, we see it one more time. We pass commit, we shade down a hard flat, and we man that guy up, and you're just going to see how it's the same thing. He just has a free lane right there. He's able to come up, make that tackle, and a lot of the time, honestly, he's going to be able to break that pass up. but it's a RPO, and you have to understand that. So you have to be ready to stop the run, okay? So you stop the pass, right? You do the adjustment to stop the pass, don't get me wrong, right? But now you're actually going to stand about 4 yards over the guard, loop around that guard, and make this play in the backfield on Judkins. So again, loop all the way around, and you just see how wide open that lane is now. I have 2 controllers. Please forgive me. I will make the play on the next, rep, right? So again, it's just easy because you're taking away the pass. A lot of people, they immediately look out to the pass on these RPOs. That's the first read. And for me too, look to the pass. Is the pass open? Okay, if the pass isn't open now though, you're literally forcing them to hand the ball off, because if they don't throw that pass instantly, which they won't because it's guarded, then they're just forced to hand the ball off, and then your user's right there to make a play. So again, boom, and then we just loop there. Wow, I guess I just have to press A. Again, I have 2 controllers, but I do this all the time. This is very easy. Obviously, I'm not going to end this video or this segment without me actually doing it here for you guys. But you can see how wide open that gap is for you to just run through. All right, boom, loop around. BLT, please make the play. There we go. All right. Honestly, not hard. If I'm not holding 2 controllers and I'm focused on just making the play, it's super easy because, honestly, these linemen, they don't even, block on these plays. They're not even, recognizing you. Run blocking on RPOs sucks. It's even worse than run blocking on run plays because some of these guys are looking to pass block for the RPO. All right, so you're able to see, again, we take away the pass, and then we just loop through. Look how wide open that gap is. This is what I'm talking about. Anyone can run through that gap, and it's just about making that tackle in the backfield, spamming A to tackle battle. But honestly, you want to be dive tackling. That's why you have Heat Seeker Assist turned on in the first part of the video that I showed you. Having Heat Seeker allows you to make those dive tackles in the backfield. So that's how I would stop RPOs. The most important thing is taking away the pass with your defenders and then taking away the run with your user. All right, before I show you the last and most important part of this scheme, which is stopping gun bunch, I want to remind you, go down below and hit that subscribe button once again, because I break down defensive tips and tricks just like this every day, and if you miss out on them, it could be the reason you're still giving up a bunch of points. Don't let that happen. Don't miss out, and let's jump right back into it. All right, like I said, you're going to have to be able to stop a gun bunch or some variation of it every time you play and load up. Let me show you a secret adjustment that no one really knows about that's going to help you out tremendously against bunch formations. Alright, so we're going to come into cover 3 cloud. Now, the thing about cover 3 cloud actually is that it's cover 3 on the passing strength side, so on the bunch side here, and then it's cover 2 on the back side. You have to understand that, because here's the thing. If they were to call a route concept like this, right, for whatever reason, and you just left the defense like this, you're going to see how they're going to be able to throw their table route. Now, as we know, spacing switch is a meta here in this game, and I actually don't have the correct spacing switch play. But, there's a glitch table route from spacing switch and Bunch X Nasty. So if you have a cloud flat in the field, they can literally hike this ball and just throw this table route out here and run him over and pick up yards. Right, and so again, if you don't, but here's the thing, if you put a hard flat on that side, right, you're just going to say, ability, just put a hard flat in the field. Well, especially when you combine that with your safety being on close and pinch, where he's all the way over here, if you were to put a hard flat, you could just give up, honestly, they could just throw a streak, right? They could just take the snap and just throw that pass lead, and you see how that's a touchdown, right? So I'm not saying take your safety depth up close, but be aware. If you're going to put a hard flat on that side to take away a table route possibly, you're going to need to move your safety out. But that's not even really the adjustment I want to show you, because what you can just do instead is you can still leave your safety right here, but now you can man him up onto Tillman. So now he's going to get out there way faster. And then the other adjustment is to just man up the running back instead of hard flatting. So now you're going to see Boomer to take the snap. You just see how Harrison Smith, he just darts out there to make that play. There's no backpedaling like I'm playing a deep half. No, he's actually darting out there to make that play, and that's so huge for you because you're still able to, did I send the running back out? I guess oh, yeah. Okay, so you see how this man right here, the slot corner, comes over to guard Judkins, the running back, but now Harrison Smith, even though he's this far inside, because, again, we're trying to take away seams like I showed you in the first segment, right? But now you're still able to get the best of both worlds because now he just darts out here. It's just a beeline to get manned up onto that guy and get back into position. So, honestly, you're going to be able to bait people with this because they're going to maybe put their running back on a table route, right? And we call this the scissor adjustment, by the way, if you ever hear it said this is kind of what they're talking about against bunch formations, because essentially now if they take the snap, when they throw that table out, there's a man right there to make that play way sooner, and if they click on, they can cut stick that, or you can cut stick that ball carrier. But again, you see how out here he's just darting to guard this C route, and he's able to easily take it away. So this is a very great bunch defense that I've talked about it, a few times in shorts. I haven't talked about it in any videos this year. But if we were to do this, now you have to see that there's no deep half on that left side. So if they call a crosser, right, now if they pair it up with something like, if they call it a route concept like this, you have to be ready to get out there with your user. That's why having a good user is so important, because yes, we're going to take away their streak, we're going to take away their table, but now I have to be here with my user, either switch stick onto that main coverage defender, or just user pace and follow that crosser all the way across the field. So it's a great adjustment, but that might be a counter that someone uses on you, is putting a crosser, and that guy would be wide open unless you user him. So it's a great adjustment, and you just have to understand really what you're doing, but it allows you to take away those quick throws to the running back on the sideline, and it allows you to completely lock down really whatever route that 19 outside receiver runs. It's going to be guarded. He runs a post, it's guarded. He runs a slant, it's guarded. He runs out to the sideline, it's guarded, because the sideline acts as another defender in that case. So this is a great adjustment that you need to start using against those bunch players, and I guarantee you're going to get some more stops and wins. Alrighty, if you enjoyed that breakdown of the 3-3 odd, the easiest defense that you can run, it's so simple and so effective because you're just sitting in a lot of cover 3 cloud and making small adjustments when you need to and relying on your switch stick. But again, subscribe so you never miss out on any of the defensive tips I break down, but also go to the link down below, the pinned comment, grab my Vikings defense ebook, where everything I just showed you in this video and more is in that ebook that you can save on your phone in your next game. Use code YouTube to get 20% off, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.